What's up, family? It's your girl Tamika, and welcome to this week's episode of Can We Conversate? So for this week, we're going to be talking about change, why change is necessary, and some of the benefits of experiencing and going through change. This show's kind of been on my mind for a while. It's taken me a couple weeks to record it, so I do apologize for the delay in the show coming out. But like I said, change has been on my mind. I've been kind of experiencing some change, some good, some bad. My grandmother passed away about 4 months ago, and it has kind of sparked this massive change in my life. She was 98 years old. God blessed her to live 98 years to experience good times and bad times. So I'm kind of navigating life for the first time, without her. I tell my husband and my friends all the time that I search my mind and I can't find a memory that she's not, associated with. So trying to navigate this second phase of my life without her in it has been challenging. And in the process of losing her, I got a new job. And I just started training for that new position. It's a position that I wanted, that I prayed for. And, I was able to get on my first interview, which a lot of people at the company were like, it's really rare, especially when you haven't been with the company as long as I have. So, I'm super grateful for the opportunity and for the new position. So I was like, people are going through so much change and going through so many things now. Maybe this episode on change can, help somebody to kind of figure out, explain why change is necessary. Sometimes when you know why a thing is a thing, you may not necessarily agree with the answer, but when you can understand it, it helps you cope with it better. It doesn't make it easier, but it helps you cope a little bit better. Like, okay, I get it. I got to eat healthy because, I need to lose weight or I have high blood pressure. I don't like eating food with no salt in it or not eating fried food, but I understand that not eating fried food or a lot of sodium in my diet helps lower my blood pressure, which helps my heart. You know what I'm saying? So change is kind of, a thing like, it's kind of like that. So change is a part of life. At some point in our lives, we all have experienced change in some shape or form. If you haven't, as my grandma would say, just keep living because it's coming. I believe, and a lot of people believe, that change is needed for growth. Be it mentally, spiritually, emotionally, growth will happen after you go through change. And don't get me wrong, change is scary. No matter if it's, this change is something that you welcome, you volunteer for it, like me, changing, positions and with my company, or if it's involuntary, my grandma passing away. Change happens and it's scary because we get comfortable in the spaces that we're in, be it professionally or personal. We get comfortable with the people that we're around. And sometimes change is needed for us to grow, to see our full potential. And it's hard. And it's hard to accept, but it gets you out of your comfort zone. It stretches you. It pulls you. And just like with working out, you go to the gym and you're doing all these exercises, and when you leave or later on that evening, you are just sore because you're working out muscles that you need to help you get to where you're trying to get and achieve, whatever your weight loss goal is. Or if you're trying to, gain muscle, your muscles hurt because they're stretching and you're pulling them, and you're working ones that you haven't worked because you need them to work for you to achieve the things that you're trying to accomplish. And that's just what changes. It stretches you. It makes you work muscles emotionally and mentally that you really probably never worked or haven't worked in a long time, and that you need those things to help you navigate this new area and help you grow in the new area that you're that you're experiencing. So there's some benefits to change. So in this, I found this blog when I was doing my research by Lisa Masella. I hope I'm saying it right. If I'm not saying it right, it's, I do apologize, Lisa, because I hate for people to mess my name up. But in this blog that she did, she talked about change. She lists like 8 benefits of embracing change. So a couple of them stood out to me. So I'm not going to touch on all 8. I have the link in the bio or in the details of the description of the show, so that, if you want to go check the blog out, you can click on the link and go, read that blog for yourself. Cause, a lot of the things that I touch on, she discussed in that blog. But one of the things that I found interesting in, the list of benefits she has, it says embracing change helps you adapt and be flexible. I learned that when we were in the military. My husband, for some of you who may not know, my husband was in the Navy for about 11 years. He was a submariner. And adapting to change and being flexible is something that we learned really quickly on being in the Navy, because at a moment's notice, he could be called to duty or he has to go out to sea. And it was hard for us to kind of plan our life when he was not out to sea. When he was out to sea, we knew those months leading up to it, he wasn't going to be around a lot, because he was, they were getting prepared to go out to sea and doing preparations for the boat and all that kind of stuff. But when he came back home and, it was, no readiness and, it wasn't time for him to go out to sea, it still was hard to plan things, because at a moment's notice, if something happens with that other team that's out, or if the boat has to come in for some reason, or if something's going on, they're calling, he got to go, he's got to drop in everything. No matter what we may have had planned, that didn't really matter. When they called, he had to go. So we learned how to be flexible. At least I learned how to be flexible, because for him, it was a job. It affected him, but it didn't affect him as much as it affected me and the kids. So I had to learn how to be flexible, because if not, I was just going to be mad all the time that we can't never do nothing. You ain't never at home. You know what I'm saying? But being in that relationship and him being in the military and me being his spouse, that's what's required. So you have to learn how to adapt and kind of roll with it. If he's here, great. We're going to enjoy the time that we have. If you got to leave early, okay. At least we had a little time together. You know what I'm saying? So the next one she states is embracing change exposes your strengths. Change makes you look at yourself in the mirror and say, how are you going to handle this? What are you going to do? Are you going to rise to the occasion? Are you going to run and hide? Change makes you look at those things. When I started this new position, I was, excited. I'm like, yes, this is where I want to be. It's going to be the hours that I want. I don't have to worry about working on the weekends. Great. And then I get in there and it's completely different from anything I've ever done since I've been working. And it's causing me to conduct myself a little bit different than what my instincts and everything in me is telling me to be, because the department is completely different. They don't rely on the same techniques and the same, what's the word I want to use? I can't think of the other word. They don't rely on the techniques that I'm used to using when I'm doing my job. And those techniques that have been ingrained in me since I've started working, those skills aren't needed, honestly, in this position that I have. So I'm having to learn how to set aside things that I'm comfortable and I'm really good at, and learning how to approach things completely different. And it's stretching me, but it's also letting me know that you got this. Are you going to rise to the occasion? And the answer is yes. I like learning new things. It's a challenge. But it's also showing me that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I know that I was chosen for this position for a reason, and they saw something in me that maybe I didn't see in myself at the time. So I know I can do this. And that's where you discover and expose your strengths. If you're the type of person that loves change, embraces it, it's, change is not a big deal to you. But for those of us who, and I not necessarily say, I don't think I will put myself in that category, because I can handle change, because it's inevitable. And as my husband say, it is what it is. But for those who have a hard time with change, you have to shape your mind, and you have to have enough belief in yourself that you can get through this change and be successful. And if that means every morning you get up and like, I can do this, I can make this work. I know it's uncomfortable right now, but I can make this work. And as you do that and you go through the change process, when you come out the other end of it, you discover that you're stronger than you think you are. In the beginning, you were scared. And then once you get to the end, you're like, why was I even scared? Why was I nervous about this? Because I got this. This is nothing. I can handle this. But it takes you having to embrace it instead of running from it, so that when you get on the other side of it, you can look back and say, I handled that. I got through that. So when the next thing comes, you ain't sweating it, because you're like, I remember when I went through that change, and I went through that period of time of being in an environment that I wasn't sure about, and I came on the other side, and here I am. So this right here, I got this. I can handle this because I made it through the first time. That's how your strength grows and you exposes it. So the next one is embracing change helps you handle setbacks and appreciate success. Setbacks are inevitable. Nobody puts their hands on something and immediately it happens. Well, I take that back. Some people do. And if you're one of those people, great for you. I probably need to have a conversation with you so I can understand what I'm doing wrong, because I've had quite a few setbacks. But things are not always gonna go as planned. This episode is a testament of that. I've been trying to do this show, this recording, for 2 weeks since the last episode posted. But something kept coming up. Things kept happening around me that hindered me from being able to record this show. So setbacks, like I said, are inevitable, and you just have to push through them. They're difficult when they happen. They're hard to get past when they happen. It kind of throws you off track and makes you question. Because when I couldn't record this show, I'm like, well, maybe God is telling me I don't really need to be doing this. This podcasting thing really may not be what I need to be doing, because every time I get ready to either sit down to write this show, or put my notes together, or research for the show, or even record the show, something is happening to keep me from doing it. But then the other part of me was like, what if that's just the enemy getting in your way and wanting you to not do it? Because they know that sometimes setbacks can easily throw you off track. That sometimes when things happen and they don't go the way that you plan, you give up. So what are you going to do? Are you going to be the OU and just be like, you know what, it just ain't meant for me to do it, I'm just going to let it go? Or are you going to push through the setbacks and keep pushing to do something that you feel like you're called to do, and something that you really want to do? And even though you're having the setbacks, have your moment of frustration, but keep pushing, keep going. And that's exactly what I did. It took me longer than I wanted to. I had to do a little research one day, write a little something the other day, and, get to where I am now, where I'm recording this episodes. So even when you have those setbacks and you learn from those mistakes, are the things that happen, it helps you the next time go around. Like, so I know that doesn't work. So maybe I need to plan more. Maybe I need to write out I need to do it at this particular time. And if it's not a life or death situation at this time of the day, I'm going to write the show. I'm going to record the show. I'm going to do the research for the show. Whatever that time slot is, if it's not a life or death situation, at that time, you stop. Everything around you stop. And even the people around you have to let them know from X amount of time to X amount of time, mom is not available. I'm not available. Because I'm writing the show. Now, when that time is up and I'm done, I'm all yours. We're good. We go ahead and do what we got to do. And, we're set. So that's kind of one of the last ones. One of the changes that she listed that I found interesting. Like I said, the link to the full list is going to be in the description for the show. So definitely click on that list. The blog is really worth reading. So to kind of round things out, navigating change builds confidence, whether you see it right away or not. Like I stated, earlier, when you get on the other side of change, you look back and wonder, like, why was I even worried about this? Why was this such a concern of mine? And then when the next change happens, you have the confidence and the assurance, and you've seen things in yourself when you went through it, the change the last time, so that when something comes and you face something new this time, you're like, I got this. I ain't even tripping, because I know I can handle this. And changing your thinking or your action requires new learning, and new learning produces growth. And that's all we want to do as human beings. You want to grow. You don't want to stay in the same place that you were 5 years ago. Some people, they're okay with that. They're good with, I don't want to say mediocrity. They're good with their life the way that it is. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But a lot of us want to grow. We don't want to be the same person that we were 5 years ago. We want to grow and be better and learn new things and experience new things. But to learn new things and to experience new things, we have to go through change. Mary Hall once said, change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere where you don't belong. I'm going to say that again. Change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere where you don't belong. Change forces us to our next level, to our next season. And it's hard. It's hard navigating change. It's hard for me to navigate life and embracing life without my grandma. She helped raise me. It's hard for me to think, and I'm trying not to get emotional, but it's hard for me to think about all the things that I still have left to accomplish in my life, that I can't pick up the phone and be like, Grandma, guess what? Or Grandma, this happened. Or decisions that I need to make and I'm unsure of, that I can't pick up the phone and say, Grandma, what you think? And her to be her normal self, baby, Grandma don't know. But Grandma does know is you need to pray about it. And the Lord will tell you what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? So trying to navigate that and the milestones that my children are going to have, and, the things that they're going to accomplish, she can't be there cheering them on. So navigating that is difficult. But I also know that even though it's hard, it's going to kind of force me to all those questions that I would have for her, and those decisions that I needed to make and I wanted her input on. It's going to force me to kind of make those decisions, by myself, or look to someone to help me, for me to talk those things through. And it's also going to force me to do what she always has told me to do, to pray about it. And God will lead me in the direction that I need to go. change isn't easy. Change isn't supposed to be easy. Change is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to push us, make us uncomfortable. That's what it's supposed to do. And the outcome of change is growth. Help us grow. Help us see things differently. And that growth is also helping other people navigate. Don't keep what you went through to yourself. Don't keep the things that you use to help you be successful to yourself. Use those things that you've experienced to help the next person that may be going through some of the stuff that you're going through. The way you handle it may not be the way that they handle it, but them hearing that, oh, okay, so you went through that? You lost a spouse, or you lost your job and had to start all over, and you were in a career for 20 years and, you got laid off. How did you handle that? And how did you come out on the other end looking like that? And you sharing those experiences encourages them. And for them to know, okay, well, if she did that, if he did that, and, he's still standing and, he doesn't look like what he's been through, maybe I'll be okay. It's still going to be difficult, but if they got on the other side of it, maybe I can get on the other side of it. So, let's embrace change this year and let's face it head on. Let's not run from it, look it in the face and like, you know what? We gonna handle this. We gonna handle you. We gonna get through this. This change isn't gonna break us. This change is gonna force us to see ourselves in a better light. This change is gonna force us to grow, and growth is great. Growth is good. And we're gonna be better on the other side of it. And remember that all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and that are called according to his purpose. All things work together for the good. Even though it doesn't feel good, it doesn't look good. You don't know how this is going to turn out. In the end, it all works together for the good. It's all is on track to get you to where you need to be. Get you to this next season of your life and this next level of your life. Embrace it. Pray through it. Cry through it if you need to. Fuss through it if you need to. But do it and go through it. Don't hide. Don't run from it. Embrace it. Because I promise you, and this is even for me, as I say this to you, I promise you that once you get on the other side of it, you'll be better for it. So that's all for this week. So as always, check us out on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Can We Conversate. You can send us an email at info@canweconversate.com. Let me know what you thought about the show. Let me know your thoughts, ideas. If you have some ideas or something, I should talk about, definitely shoot us an email or, hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on social media to let us know. Also, follow us on TikTok, on YouTube. Can We Conversate? Like, subscribe, all of those good things. Leave your comments there as well. Until next week, can we conversate?